Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is HD, and what's up guys? I'm bringing you guys all a commentary that is going to cover not just one set of games, but actually up to, I believe, 12 to 15 sets of games, because I'm going to be casting for you guys out on YouTube the ASUS ROG Assembly Winter 2012 tournament that just concluded a week ago. And if some of you guys may have missed it because you guys were tuned into MLG, some of you guys may have missed it because you just didn't tune in. I actually didn't get to see these games, so I'm very excited to be able to bring these to you guys, because as I cast them, it's going to be a whole new fresh look for me, and I'll be able to see some of the players on the scene out in Finland. And this is going to be a very, very, very exciting cast for me personally. Now, this is going to start from the round of 8. It originally started from the round of 16. I won't be bringing you guys around to 16 games just because there's a lot of games to cast. I want to try to get the best of the best. So this is going to start from the round of 8, and I'm bringing you guys the first set here. It's going to be Mill.Stephano versus Acer.Elfi. Now, I'm not... This tournament obviously isn't just a tournament that was from Finland that only has European players. This is actually an international tournament following the success of Assembly last year, and this time around there's a lot of Korean players that are competing. Some of the ones that come to mind are Polt, who of course is one of the most dominant Terran players in Korea right now, and I'm actually really excited to be able to bring this set, this entire tournament to you guys. So once again, it's from the round of 8. I'll be casting all games from the round of 8 onward. It is a $20,000 tournament total prize pool with $10,000 reserved for first place. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get it on. Now on the right hand side of the map, we do have Acer.Elfi. He's boasting a win rate of about 50-ish%. I think it's 55, close to 55 against Zerg, so not too shabby. Known mostly for his Protoss versus Protoss. That's what I remember about Elfi. And of course, a big Warcraft 3 player, actually lives in Finland, so this is his hometown where they played the tournament out for the ASUS ROG Assembly Tournament. His opponent is, of course, Stephano. He is the blue Zerg down in the bottom left-hand corner. Talk a lot about Stephano. He is one of the most fearsome French Zerg players in the world, and one of the most dominant, actually, on Millennium. In fact, the most dominant player on Millennium by far. So this is going to be a ZVP, and he's boasting a win rate in ZVP of close to 70%. So he's actually, his best matchup here for Stephano is against Protoss. And it also is going to help him a little bit that the map is Antigua Shipyard, which is, historically speaking, a pretty Zerg-favored map as well. Love Stephano's opening build here, as he's got a queen already on the way over to the third hatchery, which is actually his second, because he was forced to place the hatchery down here rather than place it over at the natural. So he's going to have a very quick 3-base opening against Elfi. Elfi right now has gone for a Nexus, so he's also going to go for a 2-base strategy. And I guess we're going to be in store for a macro game here, guys. Now, the reason why this map is historically favored Zerg over Protoss, it doesn't take too much to realize why, but if you think about it, a lot of openings that Zergs can exploit attacking into the third, but mainly it's because of the openness of the middle of the map. Very, very open center here. Not a lot of places that Protoss players can just kind of hug their forces against the side of the wall, and therefore cutting down the amount of surface area there is available to attack their Protoss army. So it's less of an advantage for Protoss when they move out on the middle of the field with their large Protoss army, and because of that, the Zerg has an easy time dealing with Protoss. On top of that, pretty easy map for Zerg to go ahead and expand at will, and that's what we kind of see Stephano doing now. One thing that I remember very much about Stephano is he loves his Zerglings, especially in ZVT. He was one of the, I wouldn't say pioneer, that would more be like Destiny, I suppose, but he was one of the best Zerg users of the Zergling Infestor style against Terran. Now, against Protoss, it's a little bit different, but I don't think he's going to go with a roach-based playstyle. That's kind of the antiquated way to play Protoss. A lot of Zergs still use it, but the more modern, fast, and just rapid way of playing ZVP is to bring in some Infestors in your army as well. So I would expect I would fully expect Stephano to incorporate some Infestor play just to bolster his army and give himself that much-needed fungal growth, the ability to lock down the Protoss army. And we can see right now he's actually occupying a lot of gases, 2 gases inside the main right now. So he's going for that the late gas investment as well. You guys can see he hasn't actually researched speed yet. It's a much later gas build, but it allows him to drone up very heavily, and he's sitting now at 45 drones and now has a roach horn on the way. So I guess we are going to have some roaches coming out here. Meanwhile, Elfi, maybe taking a page out of White Rose book, is going to go for the Warp Prism. And this is actually getting a lot more common nowadays in Protoss versus Zerg. Protoss players now realizing, hey, we're very immobile if we just sit back in the base and just build up a massive army. Yeah, it can work, but it's so much more effective to start to incorporate these Warp Prisms, the ability to maneuver your army around, start to harass a Zerg player, and do what Zerg does best, and just really dish that medicine back out at them, is something that Protoss players have discovered that they can do. And we can see now Elfi picking up 3 sentries here and taking the northern route where there are no overlords to scout that out. So very sneaky play from Elfi, and thankfully for him, Stephano is not going to see this Warp Prism, so that Warp Prism could do a lot of damage. Remember that Warp Prisms can also drop off more units as well. Those Zerglings were unable excuse me, unable to see the inside of the Protoss base much more than the gateway, and so that robotics facility will stay hidden. We can see now Elfi beginning to drop down more gateways as he hopefully makes that transition into eventually Colossus. And here comes that Warp Prism with 3 sentries. Going to drop the 3 sentries off, and the old school harass with the sentries using the force fields, but does not cut off drones as much as he wanted to. At least he only cut off 1 drone for 75 energy essentially. No, excuse me, the force field takes 50 energy. So 150 energy really for 1 drone. I guess it's worth it because energy does come back at you. But I think Stephano can certainly remake that drone very easily. And now he's grabbing the 4th hatchery as well. So Stephano realizes that the Warp Prism play is, well, it's out on the field. He can now deflect it pretty easily. In fact, he's even invested in a Spore Crawler inside the main. And really, it's just looking very solid here. In my opinion, the one thing that is a little bit odd to me is his supply isn't very high at all. He's only at 105 supply, which is kind of intriguing. Usually Zerg players will have way more supply than the Protoss, and if you think about it, Elfi's still on 2 bases, Stephano's on 4, but his supply is not really that much larger. Now it's starting to jump up. We can see 11 roaches making their way out on the field, and so now the Zerg's most powerful ability, which is mass in numbers, is starting to take hold. It's starting to take its grasp on this game, and now the Zerg army is beginning to flood out onto the field. They will break down these rocks, and that's just to make an easier access avenue to over to the gold. But we can see Elfi now making a huge counter. He's got a ton of sentries saved up here with a lot of energy as well. Gosh, that's got to be more, over 40 force fields ready to go here. And Elfi is also going to harass the back of Stephano's base at the same time. This could be a very powerful play. Depending how Elfi micros this out, he is actually just going to kill off the gold hatchery very easily. And excuse me, this is the version without the gold, as recently in the community a lot of players have just been saying, you know what, it's just so much better to play StarCraft 2 without that gold, which gives that random influx of resources. And so a lot of tournaments now removing the gold expansion from the maps and just replacing with the blues. Stephano, though, gonna take out the high ground, but that allows Elfi to work his way inside with this massive Stalker Sentry Immortal army, and he is going to destroy that hatchery very easily. Stephano now goes for the cutoff, and he's going for the pylons first. He realizes that the pylons are the source of reinforcements. He's got to pick off all the pylons right now, lest he deal with a ever-growing larger Protoss army, and he was not able to kill off all the pylons, unfortunately. 2 are still up, and more Stalkers continuing to join the fray. Stephano's in a lot of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. He is out of position here. Anytime the Protoss player is inside the Zerg base on the high ground, has force fields, and the Zerg is outside, not able to protect that, that is a significant disadvantage for the Swarm, and Stephano is in so much trouble right now. Elfi comes with a great play, just really a massive attack, and I wonder how many gateways he's operating off of right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just 7 gate robo with +1 weapons, and a huge Protoss timing attack exploits a Zerg weakness that Stephano is unable to deal with. And now Stephano has fallen back into the recesses of his natural. He has erected a spine crawler defense. He's got to make his last final hold here. He's now bearing down his load onto the Protoss army. He's got to surround Acer's army and take it out. Acer is cornered into the wall behind the natural. This is a great position for Stephano. He's just got to outlast the Protoss army. But Elfi brings in a Warp Prism, and Elfi's reinforcements have arrived. There's the Warp Prism bringing down a load of new Stalkers, and the force field's starting to come down as well just to keep the roaches at bay. Elfi has reinforced his army with 7 more Stalkers. That is certainly going to help this attack, and this is so close. Stephano's Roach army gets cut off. Some of the Roaches will be destroyed now as the Immortals just bring down the firepower, and that is going to force Stephano to pull drones off the natural to help hold this off. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, all Stephano has to do now is hold on. He has more bases erected over to the top left-hand side of the map, so he has a plan B, but he's losing so many drones. Elfi continues the assault, and that Warp Prism is the point of reinforcements. Elfi on 2 bases, running out of money, but he continues to warp in units, and Elfi is going to defeat Stephano. Unbelievable game, and Stephano calls a quick congratulations as well. That was a spectacular Protoss versus Zerg. I can't believe Elfi was able to take that down with a huge push off of 2 bases. One would even call it all in at that point. There was never a third, and Elfi just drove it home all the way. That was going all 4 bases for the home run, and Stephano just barely had a chance to hold out. I mean, he had an army, but the Warp Prism, man, just continued to bring in reinforcements, and there was nothing that Stephano could do about that because he didn't have a way to attack the Prism that was tucked all the way to the back. And what a beautiful positional play by Elfi as well, just to, you know, find a way, an opening to get into the Zerg third and do the damage that needed to be done. So beautiful play. Elfi takes it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the beginning of this ASUS ROG tournament from Assembly Winter 2012. There are so many games to cast here, guys, and I'm starting, of course, from the round of 8. I hope you guys stay tuned for more, and I'll be going all the way up to the finals. This is a $20,000 tournament. Hope you guys stay tuned. The next game is coming up. HD signing out.